Hey everybody, Nerd Alert time. I'm just going to show you something that I've been working on, or something that's been on my mind for a while, with the idea, how should I practice, how should I train different openings, right, based on how frequently I see them. So I've been wanting to do this for a while. So what I've done is I've been through using the Lichess Explorer, how frequently certain moves and certain openings occur, right? It's not an exact science, and I've used 1800 and 2000 at rapid only on Lichess in the whole Lichess database. So this is not based on my own history, working my way up on chess.com. This is based on all of Lichess. So this is really quite interesting. And also thinking about, what I'm planning, what I'm going to play in response to each one, so that I can maybe look at how, what is it worth my time actually training, because I've now got Lichess studies for most of these things. So I did it this way. I figured out, what does black play? What am I going to play in response? How often, this is an interesting one. How often is my opponent going to see it? So somebody who plays e5 in response to e4 is only going to see the center game 5.1% of the time, right? After they've played e5, I think. So, and then how often am I likely to get that if my opponent, if I always play e5, if I always play 1e4, how often am I going to get that? I'm going to get it in 19.2% of all games, That's as black and white. So almost 1 in 5 games, I will get e4, e5. And then I play the Danish, right? Or I could play the Vienna, doesn't matter. And I've done a similar thing for black. I've even gone down to a bit more detail here for actually move 4 in the most popular line, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, blah, 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 okay? So I've gone to move 4 in the Scotch because that's of particular interest. The Scotch Gambit is a bit of a bugbear. So I've done that, and then, the others I don't mind. And so what I've done is I've summarized all of that in my database, and you can see in my spreadsheet, and I've mixed them up here in order of frequency. Okay, so all the things here total up to 93.3, and the others is random side lines and whatever. So what you can see from here, I've put it in a pie chart of, so Danish Gambit, Sicilian, okay, well, e4, e5, Sicilian, e4, c5, the Italian, and then the d4, okay, but that's actually England Gambit accepted, right? Between them will account for more than 50% of all the games that I play. Now, it might be interesting to check this on chess.com, but there's only so much nerdiness you can handle in one day. And then there's all kind of little weird stuff like that, the Pitt's Defence, the English, Black Mardima Gambit, right, Caro-Kann Fantasy Variation. But this gives me an idea of how much I should be training these, okay? So, the other thing that I've done is, I've then folded into all of this mix my success rate, and I've done it for 2022 only. Now, if you go on to the chess.com Explorer and play this thing, a sequence of moves as your games as white, your games as black, it will tell you how many you've won and lost from a certain position. However, it will only give you your entire history for that account, right? But what if there was a way that you could say, well, what about just this year? What about the last month, right? Well, Craig has put us onto this site called Opening Tree, okay? And Opening Tree is really interesting. So you go onto here, you set which, Lichess.org or chess.com or Lichess tournaments, right? You enter your username on there, and this is completely free. Okay, so, I could, for example, I'll put in Craig. If I knew how to spell, that would be great. Okay, so Craig playing as white. Let's have a look. I'm going to analyze games. So I think this is just for this year so far. 84 games loaded. And by the way, you've got a lot of filters here. So here I've got the from date set to January 1st, okay? And I've got bullet, rapid, blitz, and daily, rated and casual. That is rated and unrated, okay? So that's the settings for Craig, and Craig always plays E4, okay? And because Craig's 2000 rated, he sees more Sicilians than he sees E5. So he's seen 25 Sicilians and 16 E5s. And out of those 16 E5s, he's won 13 of them. Okay, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, if you hover over this, it actually gives you the percentage. That's useful to know. Okay, so for E5, and I know he plays Knight F3 because Craig plays the Spanish. And Knight C6, you know. So what's interesting about this is, if you've got a tournament coming up, for example, and you happen to know that your opponent is on Lichess or is on chess.com, you can actually go and snoop what they're good at and what they're not so good at on using this. And the best thing is, it's completely free. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay, so I've used that to mine through how well I've done at stuff this year so far, and then I've gone proper nerdy, okay, and I've come up with an importance calculation. So that is the deviation from 0.5. So how much does it deviate from 50%, plus or minus, multiplied by the frequency, okay? And it's come up with this. So as you can see here, so this is conditional formatting in Sheets, which is pretty cool. With the Sicilian Grand Prix, okay, so that's E4, C5, and then Knight C3 with a closed Sicilian. So it's basically from a closed Sicilian position. I've only got a 45% success rate, and you can see that that is probably my most important thing so far. This La Bourdonnais variation in the French, I've only played 8 games in that, so that's not statistically relevant really here. But what is statistically relevant is the Sicilian Grand Prix. I need to be focusing on that a lot more than I need to be focusing on the Danish. The Danish, I've got a pretty good success rate so far. Okay, so the importance here is 0.6%, whatever that means really. We don't even have to format it as percent. We could even format these as a number or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. So this is positive, which means I really need to focus on it. And then there's, you know, round about here with 50%, the Falk Beer counter gambit, but that's only based on 4 games, so it's not enough to go on. But what this is telling me is, Hunty, you need to train the Sicilian. So fortunately, Ginger GM had a sale on last week, and I got a course on the Sicilian Grand Prix for about £6 or something like that. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to work my way through that. But yeah, this is a bit of a dream come true for me, for yours truly. And I can see what am I best at, what am I worst at. Okay, I do very well. The England Gambit declined, interestingly, 33 games, right? And I knew this, right? If White declines the England Gambit, it's not good for White, and it certainly isn't. Out of 33 games, I've won more than 75%. That's really cool. Okay, but everything else in the top, whatever. So these, if I total these up, that's 62. That's getting on for 2/3 of all the games I play. Yeah, I'm getting 55%-ish. The Russo Gambit, I need to do a bit better. Interestingly, this is a really funny one. The Danish Gambit against the Spanish, which is very close to the Russo, against the Italian with F5, I'm much better in the Danish. I've won 33 out of 51 games. Who would have thunk it? So doing very well there. But isn't this interesting, to be able to look how well you do against certain moves, but you can do this on opening tree as well, right? You can just browse it and it will tell you, it'll show you what your record is. And it will even identify particular sideline moves that you keep getting wrong or that tend to lead to more losses and stuff like that. So interesting stuff, I thought. So if you're a complete nerd, then this might have been interesting to you. If not, thank you for sitting this long through a Nerdfest video. Full respect to you. Catch you guys later. Take care.